Welcome to Incredible Idaho. I'm Wayne Walker. You know, most of us can probably remember a particular teacher from our grade school days who had such an eagle eye that he or she never missed a thing. And of course, that eagle-eyed teacher had the best behaved classroom. It's a common phrase we use to describe a sharp-eyed person. But think about that expression. In reality, just how well do eagles actually see? Surprisingly, very little research has been done on the eyesight of birds of prey. Our first story tonight takes us to a laboratory at Boise State University where a 3-year project has been launched to test these birds and determine just what they do see and how well they see it. Meet the top brass of the research unit: Napoleon, de Gaulle, Rommel, MacArthur, and Mussolini. These little guys are kestrels, sometimes called sparrowhawks, one of the smallest birds of prey. They got their distinguished names from a graduate student who thought each of the males resembled a little general with a puffed-up chest and haughty demeanor. Mussolini, the first of the brass to go to work today, seems particularly arrogant as he's weighed and then transported to the lab for testing.
You're a good bird. You are a good bird.
The eye test is designed with 2 sheets of paper placed behind 2 perches. One sheet is a solid gray, the other is striped in black and white. When the doors swing open, the bird is trained to hop to the perch in front of the striped paper. If he hops to the correct one, he's rewarded with food. The doors are then closed, the sheets of paper changed, and the process is repeated.
It is slow. It takes a long time. It takes many, many months of working a bird every day to get a little bit of information out of it.
Each response is carefully recorded, and then later the data is entered into the computer. But even as Mussolini works diligently for his dinner in this lab, General MacArthur is pioneering a more sophisticated approach to gathering the same information in a nearby lab.
Let's go in the box, huh?
This one is run by a computer that randomly chooses the placement of the gray and striped sheets, activating the motor that turns the paper. And then the computer also records the bird's response. In the box are 2 windows. If MacArthur puts his head through the window showing the striped paper, he gets a food reward. If he chooses the solid gray window, he gets 15 seconds of darkness and no food. Once the bird is trained, he chooses the window showing the stripes 90 to 95% of the time. But as the boldly striped paper is replaced with finer patterns, the lines becoming closer together, the kestrel's success rate diminishes until he eventually begins choosing randomly.
Specifically, this is designed to find what's the smallest distance between the black and the white lines that the bird can resolve, the visual acuity of the bird, which is related to how well a bird can see anything at a distance.
This research has been triggered by a very real problem that is occurring in the wind power industry. Kennebec Wind Power has funded the study in cooperation with Boise State University and the Boise Zoo because they've discovered that birds of prey can be injured by the spinning blades of wind turbines. The numbers haven't been large, but enough birds have been injured to cause concern to an industry that prides itself on being an environmentally friendly source of power.
We want to know whether or not birds of prey, in this case kestrels, red tails, and golden eagles, can see the blades on the wind turbines, and if they can see those blades, then if we put a pattern on them to make the blades even more visible, how big does that pattern have to be, and what should that pattern look like in order to optimize the bird's ability to see those patterns?
The industry was eager to address the problem in some form immediately, realizing that conclusive results from the kestrel study would take several years. So, in the meantime, research biologist Hugh McIsaac designed an experiment using humans to test different patterns.
Birds of prey are vertebrates, and humans are vertebrates also, and there's a lot of similarity, at least in general structure, to the eyes of the 2 groups of organisms. And we thought that to get information quick, we do a study on humans to see what kinds of patterns are most effective for humans and hope that those patterns also would be good for birds of prey.
This pattern was found to be the most visible to the human eye. Early this summer, Kennetech Wind Power will mark a portion of their blades with this pattern and begin conducting tests with red-tailed hawks to see if they react differently to the marked turbines. Red-tails are also slated to be part of the eye testing experiments in the lab, but because they are not cavity nesters like the kestrels, it takes some time to overcome their reluctance to be placed in the confines of a box.
Now yesterday I finally got him after a week of working with him. Where just gradually I worked him into the box. Finally got him to the point where he got into the box, fed from this syringe, and I could pull it out of the way and he wouldn't jump back out of the box. He'd sit and wait for it to swing back in and eat from it.
Red was brought in missing part of a wing. He would never make it back in the wild, so working here at the lab has given the bird a new lease on life. After a few more weeks of patient instruction, the scientists hope that this red-tailed hawk will help unlock some of the secrets of the extraordinary eyesight of birds of prey.
It's interesting to find out what they can and cannot do. They always surprise you. There are always interesting twists as to what they can do, and it's usually quite a bit better than what you'd originally imagined.
Over 1,400 fish for the season. Our goal is minimum of 1,200 in the fall, and we only reached 1,083.
Spring is the spawning season for the big ocean-going rainbow trout called steelhead. The wild fish seek out the small tributaries of the Snake and Salmon rivers where they themselves were spawned. The journey has been long, and now the time has come for the last chapter in an amazing story of survival. The female has chosen a nest site in the bed of the stream. Nearby, a big male hovers, playing court, as she fans the gravel with her tail to form a depression to lay her eggs. Once the steelhead have spawned, they most likely will die, their decomposing bodies restoring nutrients into the stream. But for most of Idaho's hatchery-raised steelhead, it's a different story. Their life cycle will end in a hatchery like this one at Oxbow Dam, just south of the Seven Devils Mountain on the Snake River.
One more.
This hatchery, like all of Idaho's steelhead and salmon hatcheries, was built to mitigate for the loss of these fish when the 8 hydropower dams were built on the Snake and Columbia rivers.
No doubt most of you are familiar with the furor which was caused by the failure of the fish trap at Oxbow Dam site. This will give you a little better idea of what happened.
This film was shot in 1958. Even before Oxbow, the second of the 3 Hells Canyon dams, was completed, the problems began for Idaho's ocean-going fish. Thousands of adult salmon and steelhead were trapped in pools around the dam site when the fish trap failed. Efforts were made to salvage the fish, but most died, their carcasses littering the edges of the pool. Then, when Hells Canyon Dam was built in 1967, it became the end of the road for Idaho steelhead and salmon in the Snake River. No longer would the big fish travel any further upstream to spawn naturally. As a result of man's intervention, hatcheries became necessary.
We're trying to maintain the runs. Before the 3 Hells Canyon dams went in, they were going quite a ways upstream, and we've totally lost all the fishing for that section. And so we're here just to mitigate for the losses there and to try to promote the fishing.
Adult steelhead trapped at Hells Canyon Dam are trucked here to Oxbow Hatchery for spawning. The males and females are divided into separate ponds and then shunted by a series of flumes into the spawning area. Hatchery worker Lisa Rubel nets females into a tank that has been treated with a drug to sedate the fish. Each female is then killed quickly with a sharp rap to the head.
Okay, ready? 595.
The length measurement helps determine whether the steelhead spent 1 or 2 years in the ocean before returning to the Snake River. The belly of the female is sliced open, and then thousands of bright red eggs are scooped into a sterile container. Meanwhile, in the pit below, male steelhead are being spawned. The hatchery workers feel along the fish's lower body cavity and apply pressure. If sperm is not readily expressed, the male is sent back through this flume into the holding pond. It's not an easy job to handle the big slippery fish, and when one appears to be ripe, it takes some effort to get him to cooperate.
That's a common occurrence.
Over 1,400 fish for the season. Our goal is minimum of 1,200 in the fall, and we only reached 1,083. But the spring run made up for it.
Although Oxbow Hatchery will meet its mitigation goals, the upper river hatcheries at Sawtooth and Passamaroy have exceedingly low numbers of adults returning.
Okay, guys. Ready for another one.
The sperm is mixed with the eggs in a bucket, and well water is added to activate the sperm.
Once the water hits the sperm, it's about 11 seconds to a minute before it's not good anymore. The quicker you get it on, the better chances of fertility you're going to have. And then we let them set for 5 minutes. And then we'll put an iodine mixture over the top of them to keep the diseases from being laterally transmitted from the adults to the eggs.
The fertilized eggs are then taken to the hatchery building to be placed into incubators.
First, we'll pour off a little bit of the water and then get a rough estimate of how many ounces. We can correlate that to, we've been averaging about 238 eggs per ounce. That way we have a rough estimate.
Julie says that if they can keep the water at a steady 43 degrees, the eggs will eye up in about 30 days. This means small black dots will appear in the egg, indicating the development of the eyes. When that happens, the eggs will be packed up and shipped to Niagara Springs Hatchery near Twin Falls to be raised to juvenile steelhead called smolts. And the cycle begins again.
It's so neat to see something that you can raise and see a finished result 3, 4, 5 years later. And it's, I don't know, it's just enjoyable.
With my pole and
We're going to try fishing off the docks today for a while. How's that sound? Is that okay?
You know, it doesn't have to be a glamorous fish like a big steelhead for an angler to experience the thrill of the catch. Next, we'll introduce you to 8-year-old Katie Scanlon, Idaho's record holder for squawfish. Katie and her dad, Steve, can't seem to get enough of that wonderful pastime called going fishing.
Here's a pole for you, kiddo.
Bet you're going fishing all of the time. Baby going fishing too. Bet your
What, do you think we're going to catch
your
anything today?
sweet wife is gonna catch more fish than
Yeah, you never do know, do you?
Many fish bites if
Sometimes
you
you
got
catch
good
stuff, and
bait.
sometimes you don't.
But here's a little tip that I would like to relate. With my pole and my line, I'm a going fishing. Yes, I'm going fishing, and my baby going fishing too. I went on down my favorite fishing hole, baby.
You want to use worms or marshmallows, or what do you want to start with? Worms, okay. I like to fish, but I think it's just a kick to have your kid along with you, too. And I get as much, I think, if not more enjoyment than she does from catching them.
If you got good bait, I'm going fishing. Yes, I'm going fishing, and my baby going fishing too.
Ooh, nice cast, nice cast.
Steve Scanlon says he's been taking his daughter Katie fishing with him since she was 2 years old.
If we don't get any bites here, I think we'll go over and fish off the bank for a while. How's that sound?
He says not only is it fun, but the price is right. Fishing gear for youngsters is inexpensive, and until they're 14 years old, kids fish for free. But the best part is sharing quiet time with a good companion.
She's serious and got a lot of good concentration. For an 8-year-old, she really can sit there a long time and fish. Got a lot of patience for a kid. I'm going to cast over toward shore this time. See if we get any bites over that way.
Patience has its place in the sport of fishing, but after a while, no bites means no fish. And so Dad and daughter decide it's time to change fishing holes.
Well, sometimes you get fish and sometimes you don't. Kind of cool today. Maybe the fish are trying to keep warm.
I went on down my favorite fishing hole, baby, caught myself a pole line. Caught a 9-pound catfish on the bottom, yes I got him, and I brought him home to my mama by summertime. Singing many fish bites if you got good bait. But here's a little tip that I would like to relay. Many fish bites if you got good bait. I'm a-going fishing, yes I'm going fishing, and my baby going fishing too.
Oh, she's a really pretty independent little fisherman. She just fishes on her own. When she caught that big squawfish, I was upstream about 100 yards, and she was just going on her own. And she yelled out, "I got one, Dad, I got one." So I reeled my stuff in and set my pole down real fast and started running downstream. And by the time I got there, she had already landed it all by herself.
Certificate of Merit presented to Katie Scanlon in recognition of her superior angling skills for catching the Idaho #1 record. Squawfish. Official weight 1.36 pounds. Total length 15.5 inches. Date of catch March 18th, 1995. Location of catch Salmon River, Idaho, from the Idaho Department of Fish and Game.
Yay! Hey, all right. And how did it feel to reel in that big record squawfish?
Very exciting. And that's it.
A young lady of a few words, although we did manage to learn the secret to her casting technique.
You have to try to, throw the string, but hold on to the fishing pole.
Ooh, nice.
And we also discovered what you call those annoying little tugs on your line.
A bait stealer wannabe.
Steve says he's never been skunked when he's been out fishing with his daughter Katie, and today is no exception.
Whoa. Oh, nice rainbow, Katie. Nice rainbow trout. You kind of make your own luck in fishing. You got to be there, you got to have your hook out, you got to have the bait on it before you'll catch any fish, and that's the secret. And you're not going to catch anything if you're not out there. So we do that, and I don't know if we're good or not, but we catch a lot of fish. We catch some big fish, and I think that's what it's all about. And kids have fun. Doesn't get any better than that. Okay, reel it in just a little, Katie.
Steve says the key to taking young kids fishing is patience. And on a chilly day like today, a thermos of hot chocolate and a few donuts can go a long ways towards keeping things fun, along with a quick hand of the classic children's card game, Go Fish.
You have an astronaut?
Go fish. And when they get cold and tired or bored, just take a little break. Maybe take some toys along like we have a deck of cards, or take something to munch on. But other than that, I'm real lucky. My kids, they like to fish and they got good concentration, and so they just, they're just a real joy to fish with, and they catch fish. Oh, Katie, you got a bite. Reel it in. Oops, that's good. Whoa, just leave this, take the tension out. Well, let's measure him here. See how long this is. This looks like this is really a big sucker. My gosh, Katie, he's just about 16 inches.
Bet you going fishing all of the time. Mama going fishing too. Bet your life, your sweet life, are gonna catch more fish than you. Many fish bites if you got good bait. Here's a little tip that I would like to relate. With my pole and my line, I'm a-going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing, and my baby going fishing too. I'm a-going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing, and my baby going fishing too. I'm a-going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing, and my baby going fishing too. Thank you.
There's a beautiful little canyon tucked along the Idaho-Oregon border in the Owyhee Desert Country. It was named for a Silver City pioneer named Hiram Leslie, who was killed there by lightning in 1882. As we close our show tonight, we'll leave you with the peace and quiet of Leslie Gulch.